What's going on YouTube? So BMW is currently in the midst of revamping their entire lineup, with many models getting big updates. Today we're in South Carolina with one of the newest and most radically changed models, the all-new 5 Series. Guys, this model has a ton to check out, so let's not waste any time and go ahead and get into it. So with this new 5 Series, you have a ton of options, including for the very first time, a fully electrified i5 model. Now we're gonna take this out for a drive, of course, later on in the video. We're gonna get things like our signature sound level reading and talk at length about all your different options when it comes to powertrain selections. But what I wanna do to start off this video is go ahead and talk about the exterior design. It really looks a lot different from the previous generation, and you see a lot of the latest and greatest BMW design language elements. So up here in the front of this 530i, we have a pretty traditional looking grille. You'll notice that this is actually a lot smaller than what you've seen on a lot of the most recent BMWs, including the 7 Series model. Just kind of has that more traditional look, although this one is the M Sport, so it is going to add the more aggressive elements down here in the lower fascia, giving it this nice blacked out look, which I think looks fantastic with the Brooklyn gray metallic that this model is finished in. Now coming over here to the headlights, of course you've got the most modern and beautiful full LED headlights. One of the new BMW signatures is this daytime running light and turn signal indicator that's kind of a triangle shape, and these are also going to be optional with the adaptive abilities. Now moving on to our wheels, you have a ton of different choices, beginning at 19 inches and going up to 21-inch alloy wheels. One of the things I really love about this new 5 Series is that regardless if you choose a gas-powered model or an electric model, you really don't have any radical changes in terms of the design. So these 21-inch alloy wheels actually, I'm noticing, do have some aero covers, because I guess this is maybe kind of more like the i design, but I really like the way these look. They're very bold and creative looking. Now as we move up here to our mirrors, fully loaded as you'd expect. So blind spot monitoring, power folding, heating, and auto dimming.
Now here at the side of the 5 Series, I do have quite a bit to talk about for this all-new model. It's up about 3.4 inches over the previous generation, making its total length about 199 inches long, which is very long for a sedan like this. Now, I do also want to talk about some of the design elements. We have blacked out window surrounds. We also have 5 branding here in the back, which I think is a really nice design element. You're also going to have the flush mount door handles, regardless of if you go for a gas model or an electric version of this 5 Series. Now, working our way around to the rear design of this vehicle, you will notice that we do have an all-new look back here, and it's not quite as radical as what you get on something like a 7 Series. I actually think I like this 5 Series design quite a bit better than what you're going to get on that top-end BMW sedan. So as far as some of those elements, let's check out the taillights. We kind of have a slender design. It's going to be full LED, so every single element is LED in this taillight cluster. You also do have an LED reverse light integrated in this lower diffuser area. And speaking of the lower diffuser area, it's going to be fully blacked out because we have the M Sport model. That makes it look a lot more aggressive. However, we do not have exposed exhaust outlets on any version of the 5 Series. And let's talk safety, because there's something pretty radical about this all-new 5 Series when it comes to this. Now, BMW is including 3 out of your 4 active safety features as standard equipment on all 5 Series models. However, if you choose the Driver's Assistance Professional package, you're going to get some really cool stuff. The really cool stuff would include adaptive cruise control with their highway assist function, which can go at speeds of up to 85 miles per hour with hands-free driving. And not only that, this will be the first BMW that will allow you to actually change lanes just by looking at the mirrors. It's kind of hard to show what I'm saying here, but we'll insert a little B-roll clip of this. You actually can just look at the mirror and the vehicle will go ahead and change lanes if it's safe. Very cool technology with this 5 Series. But we're not done yet, because there's a really incredibly cool cabin on the inside. So let's check that out. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Now let's go ahead and move on to the interior. First, of course, we'll take a look at the key fob. This is the newest BMW key fob, very sleek and nice looking. mostly finished in piano black. You do also have remote start built into the fob, and you have the smart entry system. By the way, you can also use digital key as well to get inside the vehicle. Now, with this flush mounted door handle, as soon as you reach behind it, it's going to go ahead and unlock the door, and then you just pull up on that and it will open up. Now go ahead and take a look inside of this interior. Of course, you're going to notice a lot of the brand new BMW design characteristics. It's very futuristic, modern, and sleek looking, and we're going to get into all those details in just a second. But first, I want to start off by talking about our interior color and material choices. So in terms of what you get, standard is going to be Vengaza leatherette. It's going to be a fully leather-free interior. That is what these seats are, as a matter of fact, and you'll see they look very, very premium. So I'm super impressed by how realistic this feels. It's soft, it's supple. I love the diamond stitching throughout. I don't think you would mind that this is a leatherette instead of a real leather, but if you want the real leather, you still can get merino leather if you prefer. In terms of color options, this is the burgundy, but you also have white and espresso, as well as one with Alcantara inserts. The seats themselves are going to be highly adjustable. We do have a thigh extension as well, and you do have memory seating and the availability of the multi-contour seating package. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now I've climbed inside of the very quiet cabin, let's look at the rest of the materials. So this does have, basically the new generation of design. So a lot of the parts here are going to be totally different from many BMWs you've been in before. We do have the nice leather trim right through here. It's going to be soft touch along the top. We have a real metal speaker grille right there. And then as you go across the upper dash, all this will be a nice padded plastic. You've got a large piece of aluminum here. You've got many different choices, including real wood and carbon fiber options if you prefer. And then down through this part, we do have some padding for your knee to rest against. Now, one of the new things about this design is you'll notice we have this kind of floating panel right here. This is where your shifter as well as your push button start is going to live. So let's fire it up. Now that we've started it up, let's start out by taking a look at our gauge cluster. Now, as pretty much every single BMW has moved to, you've got this dual screen arrangement. This part right here, the Live Cockpit Professional, is 12.3 inches, acts as your gauge cluster. Of course, it is reconfigurable in many ways, and any information that doesn't appear there is probably going to appear in this optional, very, very large head-up display, one of the best in the entire auto industry. It looks fantastic. Now, as we pull back to the steering wheel, we've got the newest generation steering wheel design. Of course, since this is the M Sport model, we have flat bottom, really thick rims here on the side, as well as the nice bolstering. It's a great feeling steering wheel in the hand. You do have some touch capacitive controls that are going to be located on the steering wheel itself, and then it is going to be power, tilt, and telescoping with available heating. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the interior storage inside of the cabin. I'll pop this open first of all. So we have our center console. As you can see, pretty decent amount of space for a sedan of this size. You do have a 12-volt outlet inside as well. More of our space though is going to be kind of focused up here in front of this floating console. So you've got your two cup holders, and then you've got a really versatile area, which is a wireless phone charging pad as well. Now, as we pull back here to this area, you'll see that we do have that new kind of nub style shifter, very small and compact, out of the way. Just pull back for drive. You do have paddle shifters on the steering wheel as well. Press up to go into reverse, and you'll be greeted with a standard backup camera or the available 360-degree camera system. As you can see, we've got the ladder. It has lots of different views that you can cycle between, including everyone's fan favorite, the 3D view, so you can use the knob here on the dash to scroll all around the vehicle, see it from all perspectives, and this is just absolutely stunning resolution on board. It is beautiful. Then back behind that P right there is going to be your park. You do also have a brake hold function as well. And right in this same area, you do have some touch capacitive buttons for the infotainment system. You have this knob as well, and you also have your physical volume knob. Now, in terms of the sound systems you get, you do have a standard Harman Kardon sound system with this new generation of 5 Series, and then an available Bauer and Wilkins sound system. that is what we have on today's example, but I'm having a little bit of a Bluetooth issue right now, so I can't play you guys a sound sample. However, rest assured that it does sound excellent. Now, as we kind of move above here, you'll of course notice it's very clean looking through here. That's because we don't have any climate controls. We actually don't even have any visible vents. With this new version, what they've kind of done is hidden the vents. You just kind of slide along with these touch capacitive buttons here to kind of control the airflow and stuff like that. I think it's a really cool and very minimalistic look. Now, let's kind of move into this main display. Just like other BMWs, 14.9 inches. One of the things, though, is that it launches with iDrive version 8.5. So you'll notice that this has a different kind of look to it than what you've perhaps seen in some past BMW videos. With this, you're going to have more buttons down here at the bottom that act as your shortcuts, including to your climate controls. So your main climate controls will be located right there. You can, of course, adjust your temperature down here at the bottom, and if you tap there, you will have a quick link to your heated seats as well as your heated steering wheel. Obviously, seat ventilation is also going to be offered, although not equipped on today's specific example. Now, in terms of other things to mention with this new system, this is what your built-in navigation system will look like. Over here on the side, you have these cards, which you can swipe between to see various different things about your vehicle. And you can, of course, also use Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, both of which will run wirelessly with this iDrive system. Now, one new feature with this 5 Series that is exclusive to it for now is called Air Console. You actually have some built-in games inside of this system, and you can connect your phone and use your phone as a controller for the games on this vehicle. You can also look at things like YouTube. Obviously, these things are only going to work when the vehicle is in park, but it just gives you some additional options that you can use. Now, as we move above, auto-dimming mirror, of course, with HomeLink universal remotes, as you would expect. And then up top, you'll notice a very nice looking panoramic sunroof. This is the optional panoramic sunroof. You do have a standard size sunroof on the 5 Series model, but this one here is going to be optional. Just be aware that it is fixed glass, so this is not going to open up, but we do have a power sunshade.
Now let's talk about the rear seat area of this all-new 5 Series. Now when you get back here, you're going to notice that there's a lot of space, a lot of luxury as well. So let's go ahead and dive into that. So as far as official legroom figures, unfortunately BMW has not provided us with those official measurements just yet. However, rest assured, here at Car Confections, we like to bring our own measuring devices so we can test those figures. And here we are. The seat is adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8". I'm 5'9", and I'm sitting at about 8.5 inches in e-space, so plenty of room. My feet can easily slide up underneath the seat as well. I'm really not thinking this is a massive difference from what you get in the 7 Series. The 7 Series will be quite a bit larger, but it's not going to be like compact like a 3 Series by any means. Now, as far as some of the controls back here, let's go ahead and talk about that. Here in the center, we do have vents. They kind of point upwards. I like that. I do believe you can get optional climate controls. We don't have that on this particular tester. However, we do have 2 USB-C ports, and we have more USB-C ports integrated into the seat backs themselves, and you also have this little thing that you can open up in the seat back. Very nice features overall. Now, as far as the features, you can also get heated rear seats. Once again, we don't have that on this particular tester. However, we do have a fold-down armrest with 2 cup holders inside. And then looking at your door trim, very nicely done. Soft touch on the upper part, some more of that red leather. Big speaker grille, takes up most of the door trim. Looks really good and very premium. Now walking up to the cargo area for this new 5 Series, you might be curious as to how much space you're going to get. So let's go ahead and check it out. First of all, we do have a power trunk. It also has the hands-free ability if you want to kick underneath of it. And as far as this space is concerned, my oh my, there is a ton of space. So like I mentioned on the outside, this vehicle is 3.4 inches longer than the previous generation. That's going to translate to a lot more cargo capacity, 18.4 cubic feet for the 5 Series models. If you choose the i5 model, that's going to reduce it down a little bit, about 17 cubic feet is what you're going to get with that. So not much of a difference, but you will get more space with the traditional gas model. And there is so much room back here. It's more than a 7 Series. It goes back a very good distance. As a matter of fact, I can go ahead and get out our tape measure here so I can measure how long the length is from the rear seats to the end of the cargo area. We are sitting at a very solid 44 inches of length, and we're also going to be sitting at about 38 inches wide. So a very good width figure for this 5 Series. The seats do also fold 40-20, 40 split folding. And then if I lift up the floor here, if I can figure out how to lift it up, there we go. You do have a little bit of additional space up underneath it here. And oddly enough, I do see a spare tire. Alright guys, here we are behind the wheel of the all-new 2024 BMW 5 Series. In this test drive, we're going to be talking about quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our signature sound level reading. Hopefully we can find a road here in South Carolina that we can have a 55-mile-an-hour speed test on. Now, do be patient with us because we don't know where we're going here in Greenville, but I do think hopefully we'll be able to find a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit area. But let's go ahead and start this test drive off by talking about some of the different powertrain options.
Little punch of the throttle there.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, this is the 530i. So this is, you know, the base engine for this model. And that does mean that this is going to be the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, and also probably the volume seller of the lineup, or the most mainstream version, of course, with this new 5 Series model. With this, you're going to have 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, and this is now paired with a 48-volt mild hybrid system. So just like many other BMWs we've shown you guys in recent years, this does have the mild hybrid. So you'll see that work actually throughout this test drive, especially in the urban environments as we come to a stop. Before we even came completely to a stop, the engine will go ahead and turn itself off. And then, as you can see, when I let my foot off the brake, it restarts very quickly, very smoothly, because this is an advanced auto start-stop system.
Yeah, and just based on that initial punch of the throttle right there, I feel like this 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder, a lot of you guys might be a little skeptical and say, oh, is it weak and underpowered? Of course, this is not going to be the most powerful 5 Series you can get, that's for sure, but I think it really feels adequate for most people's needs, especially if you're just looking for a comfortable luxury sedan.
Right, and I'm hoping to demonstrate it here in a second, but 0 to 60 on this is actually 5.8 seconds. So if you want to kind of quantify how quick this is, that's pretty quick,
yeah.
Especially because this is a big sedan.
Yeah, that's pretty quick, yeah. Now, I do want to just go ahead and talk about the other powertrain options you can get, though, because with this 5 Series, BMW is giving you a crazy large assortment of powertrain choices. So let me dive into that. Bear with me here. The 540i will be offered on this. That's going to be having a 3-liter turbo inline 6-cylinder. So basically the same powertrain you've seen on a lot of BMW models. It's a phenomenal powertrain. I would say that's definitely a good option if you want to spend a little bit extra money. That inline 6 is incredibly smooth. It's going to have 375 horsepower. It's also going to have the mild hybrid setup. And the 0 to 60 on that is estimated to be 4.5 seconds. They're not building that right now, but it will be available very shortly for purchase if you want that. Now, of course, there are electric options as well. So you have the i5 models. You start out with the eDrive 40 model that has rear drive, that has a single electric motor, and that's going to be making 335 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, and the 0 to 60 on that is 5.7 seconds. Now, additionally, they are also offering the highest performance one, the i5 M60, which is the top-of-the-line 5 Series model. That's going to have dual electric motor, so it's going to have all-wheel drive. It also has 593 horsepower, so absurd power figures for that top-end M60 i5 model. 0 to 60 is 3.7 seconds, so crazy performance figures. BMW did also say that they are going to be offering a plug-in hybrid model as well. Once again, not available right now, but they will be offering it for those of you who want that.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing is that even when I put my foot down, you can hardly even hear the engine. It is very quiet and refined in its power delivery. Let's accelerate a bit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly they have really made the 4-cylinder very muted in terms of that power delivery. I also want to talk about the other aspect of the powertrain, which is your transmission. We've got an 8-speed automatic transmission on board, nice and smooth. We're just in the normal drive mode right now. If you obviously want the most dynamic feel, you can kick it into sport mode. That's going to keep the transmission ready to go a little bit more than that right there. But overall, this is a transmission that is so super smooth. You can't feel it at all. As you're driving, it's going to be totally blended into the background.
Yeah, and as far as how the power is routed to the ground, here for the 530 model, you do have standard rear drive, optional all-wheel drive, and for, of course, the electric versions, you can pick between all-wheel drive and rear drive as well. Wow, yeah, that's quick.
Okay, there you go. That was sport mode there from a stop. Yeah, I mean, under 6 seconds, yeah, for the standard base model, it's hard to complain about that. But of course, you can get up to nearly 600 horsepower in this if you choose the electric version, yeah, in the top spec. And that is under 4 seconds, 0 to 60. So you have a lot of choices and a lot of crazy acceleration to match whatever your desire is.
And now that we're just kind of cruising along here on the highway, I do want to talk about your ride quality for this 5 Series, because this model, of course, is a sport luxury sedan. But I would say people who buy in this segment kind of want a luxury sports sedan. They want the luxury side a little bit more than the sports side, because if you did, you might would just get a 3 Series instead. And I will say the ride quality is superb on this model. We're actually in sport mode right now. I'll go ahead and kind of knock it back into just the relax mode. That sounds good. So in the relax mode, it will try and shut your moonroof, which obviously isn't going to work for the GoPro setup that we have here, but it does also make sure that the engine is as quiet as possible. It makes sure the suspension is as soft as possible, and this thing rides like a dream. I love the 5 Series ride quality. I've always loved it in the past, and I think they've done an even better job for this all-new model.
It feels so similar to the 7 Series, yeah, guys. Like, this really does have that mini 7 Series kind of feel.
Yeah, so I think you're going to be very impressed with the ride quality of this 5 Series, that is for sure. I do also want to mention, if you choose that top-end M60 model, you can get a rear air suspension as standard equipment, so that's going to further increase your ride quality and ability to transform this into more of a performance-oriented machine. But this standard suspension setup is still very, very impressive. Now, I do also want to go ahead and talk about fuel economy as well as range for the electric versions of the 5 Series. So as far as fuel economy is concerned, this 530 will get you the best fuel economy. I'm going to try and find the EPA figure. It wasn't available to us in the press release. I'll see it in post if we're able to get that figure for you, and we'll insert it right now if we are able to. As far as the range figures are concerned, though, let's go ahead and talk about that. So the 40 model is capable of a maximum range of 295 miles, so pretty solid range figure there. And then if you choose the performance M60 model, that's going to have 256 miles of range. Yeah, it's pretty quick. Pretty quick for sure.
All right, I'll slow us down to 55 miles per hour, and this will allow Mason to collect our sound level reading. I'm thinking we're going to get a good result with this. Let's find out.
Well, maybe the sound level reader knew we were in a 5 Series, because 55 decibels is what we got as our sound level reading, going 55 miles per hour in the 5 Series. It's the day of 5s. But very good sound level reading. That is very impressive. And you know what? I don't have to sit here and guess, because I can just go to carconfections.com/sound level readings. And on our website, we've actually posted all the sound level readings for all this vehicle's competition, so we can see how quiet it is and how well it compares. And as far as how that compares, that does actually place us as the second quietest in the entire midsize luxury sedan segment. All right, and let's go ahead and do our airball and slam dunk today for the all-new 5 Series. Drew, do you want to kick us off with the slam dunk?
Yeah, so the slam dunk, I think, for this all-new 5 Series is just the extreme amount of choice you have in terms of powertrain. BMW recognizes that people want electrified options, but they don't want those to be the only options. So you have all the gas options and electrified options. And no matter what you choose, you still fundamentally get the same car. I really like that because when it comes to, for example, chief competitor Mercedes, you have to choose basically a totally different car. You have to choose the EQE instead of the E-Class, and those have totally different features and all that, but where this has complete parity if you choose the electrified or if you want the gas models.
Yeah. And as far as our airball is concerned, it is going to just be the overall design is bold on this 5 Series. Now, it's not as bold as the 7 Series, but certainly when you look at some of the rivals like the E-Class and the G80, they're more of those kind of subdued designs. This is going to be kind of bold and in your face, and whether you like that or not, that's going to be up to you. I think Drew is a little bit less of a fan of it than I am. I think it looks pretty darn good, but it's just going to be a little bit more controversial of a design than what you're going to get on a lot of the rivals, which might be a con for some people. And then the last thing I want to talk about is your warranty. You're going to have a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain warranty. Additionally, BMW does give you 3 years of complimentary maintenance. And now let's go ahead and talk about the pricing for this new 5 Series. Now, prices do range a lot. The 530i is, of course, going to be your standard version of the 5 Series. So this model with xDrive is starting at $60,200. We do have the vast majority of options on this. We're sitting at $73,245 as tested today. Of course, if you get a fully loaded i5 M60 with all the crazy performance, you're going to be sitting at about $100,000 fully loaded up. Now, if you're a smart shopper, the next place you're going to go to is carconfections.com/newcarquotes, because on our website, we have a tool that will connect you with local dealers in your area to get you the best price on your new vehicle. If you'd like to take advantage of that offer, a link is provided in our video description. And guys, that's going to be all for our in-depth review of the all-new 2024 BMW 5 Series. We hope you enjoyed this video and found it insightful as to what you're going to get with this all-new model. If you did, we would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to help give us access to vehicles like this and get us invited to events like BMW Test Fest, where we can sample out the latest BMW products. So please go ahead and do that if you haven't already, and join in on this Car Confections family. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.